Everybody. It's good to see everybody. Happy Monday. Hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend. My name is E.R. Wolf. I'm joined by my business partner, Guy Toole. We're here with LFI, and today is Monday Sprint Planning. So we do this each and every Monday. Obviously, there's 52 Mondays in the year, and we are going to be relentlessly consistent about planning our week so we can plan each day, focus on each day, win the week, win the year. We don't have to get distracted by the big, hairy, audacious goal we maybe set out for ourselves, for some of us a quarter ago, at the beginning of the year. Here we are about 3 months in on the year, and we're still chipping away at making forward progress towards our goals. And that's what this is all about. It's about being relentlessly consistent. It's about making or setting a path, making a plan to execute to go down that path, and then just doing the work, in fact, the hard work, and being relentlessly consistent about doing that. It's about identifying our daily routines or our daily method of operation. What do we need to be doing each and every day to make forward progress on the things that we want to achieve? There was a quote we posted a bit ago, and it was, be the change that you want to see. What does that mean? You need to live that change. You need to put in that practice daily in order to get to where you want to go. In addition, Guy, one of the things that I heard today was carpe diem, right? Seize the day. Carpe diem, guys. What does that mean? It means focus on today. Don't get lost in tomorrow or in the future. It's good to plan for the future, but don't spend every day planning. At some point, you have to start going towards that future goal. And again, Monday, great time to reset ourselves on a weekly basis. Every day is a new day, so you can reset every day. But Monday's the time we want to plan out the next 7 days so we can execute on each day. And then every day you can reset and get started again. And that's what this is really about. We pick a theme every week. So the last few weeks we've talked about time freedom. We've talked about location freedom, and we're going to talk about this third pillar. And I think that's truly the trifecta here, and that's financial freedom. And a lot of people that we interact with, that's their end goal, right? The way I was raised, it was go to school, get a good job, work for 40 years, take a portion of your income and put it away each and every month. And then by the time you're 65, maybe you'll have enough put away to retire. And look, if you're playing that long game strategy, I encourage you to be consistent with that. Maybe you were late starting on that, or maybe you missed out on that strategy altogether, or maybe you're looking for alternate vehicles to supplement that. And that's really what we want to focus on this week with financial freedom. And if you joined us on a previous Friday with the founders, I want to call out something that Mike Snow had mentioned about financial freedom. And I think this is truly the crux of the whole problem and solution. And if you were on that Friday with the founders, one of the big things that came out of that, and I think this may have been an aha moment for a lot of people. If not, it should be an aha moment for you. What does financial freedom mean to you? A lot of times it conjures up those visions of extreme wealth or riches, doing the things you want to do, and all those things that you have imagined. But I want to make the argument that financial freedom, true financial freedom, is replacing your existing income with passive residual income. And what do we mean by that? If you're making $2,000 a month, I don't know if you are, but if you're making $5,000 a month, maybe you're making $10,000 a month or somewhere on that spectrum, and you know what your number is. So if you're following along, maybe if you're writing or taking notes, put down that number. This is what I make every month. You know what I mean? And write that number down and say, what would it be like, not if I doubled that, tripled that, quadrupled that, 10x that, whatever they're saying out there, but what if I replaced that and I was no longer trading my time for money in order to generate that? So if you're watching this and you're doing a typical job and you're out there working the 8 to 5, the income that you're bringing in is equal to the time you're exchanging for it. So maybe you're putting in 40 hours a week to generate that income. We want to set realistic expectations when it comes to financial freedom. If you could replace that right now, what would that mean for you? Would that free up more time for you? You wouldn't have to exchange that time for money. If it was coming in automatically, would you live somewhere else? Would you have some location freedom? If you had that amount coming in, would you still be profitable, or would you need to increase that over time? What does financial freedom mean for you? And I want to kick this off really by saying, look, the easiest way to understand how to have financial freedom, the easiest equation is, there's an old saying, right? Your income should be greater than your outflow, or your excess will be your downfall, right? Your income needs to be greater than your outflow, or your excess will be your downfall. In business, we call this your profit and loss statement, right? A P&L. How much do you have coming in? What are your expenses going out? You can take that same business principle and apply it to your life, okay? And say, this is what I have coming in, and this is what I have going out. The first step in financial freedom, Guy, in my mind, isn't just replacing my existing income. It's making sure that my income is equivalent or greater than my outflow. Otherwise, maybe you're living a little too high on the hog, or you need to increase that income stream. There's only two variables in the equation. We're trying to make this super simple for everybody who sees this, right? So you have money coming in, you have money going out. That could be in your business or in your everyday life. And you can write down all of your expenses if you want to do that. And this is part of that planning process, right? If you don't know or aren't planning or measuring it, you won't know whether you're making forward progress towards reaching it. And once you understand what your outflow is, you can start focusing on the inflow, the income side of it. And maybe right now, all of it's being traded dollars for hours. Maybe right now you have some passive residual income stream coming in. But your first goal before you raise that outflow, before you raise your lifestyle, should be to replace the income stream that covers your lifestyle. And that, I think, is so powerful. So I'm going to stop right there. I want to open this up to anybody on the call. Guy, I want to open it up to you for any comments or questions on that as well. And Ruben, I saw your hand go up. So Guy, if you have any comments, feel free, and then we'll jump over to Ruben here.
Most definitely. And from the aspect of the financial freedom piece, and saying, what are my incomes, or what, if I'm making $5,000 a month, what does that look like? Am I doing a 9-to-5? Am I doing different side hustles? And if I'm looking to replace that to have financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom, then start chipping away at that. It doesn't have to be this month you're going to take that over with a $5,000 income. And if it doesn't work, then I quit and I look for the next thing. Because I also saw another quote. I'm a quote person. 1 year can change your life. 1 year. But the work ethic you put in will determine that 1 year. So putting that work ethic in for that 1 year can change your life. We talk about, these three pillars that we love, and we express to everyone else that hopefully everyone else loves. That when I think about it, I think if I could retire tomorrow, what does that look like? And I think that's where we all are. No matter if there's a 25-year-old, they're probably, how fast can I retire, to a 75-year-old is like, I need to retire. Yep. And I need to have the time and the location freedom. But looking at that, what is it going to take to get me there? It's going to take some work. It's going to take some effort. And a beautiful thing is understanding, like you're saying, inflows, outflows, financial education. I believe, Jay, you're now residing in Florida. I saw an article this week. Florida is the first state that has mandated high school education will now mandate a financial education. So everyone in high school in the state of Florida has to learn financial education. And I think that's something that has been left in the world of school, of education till higher education, when you learn those things. But, when we were going through higher education and we're working towards, you have a master's, I have a minor in finance. When going through those, there's so many things that really don't pertain to those elements. And let's just sit down and get a cliff notes of what this is supposed to be. So we know how to reach those. Also, going into the week and going into the time, location, and financial freedom, control what you can control.
Yep.
Right? Control what you can control. There's so much that can be put on your plate that maybe can be handed to someone else, or maybe can be outsourced to a different resource or a different process or a system, but controlling what you can control. My first thing I always do is I control my mindset. Mm-hmm. I control my breath, control my attitude, and my process. And the reason I can control my process is I have it in place. Yep. It isn't something that a bad process or a bad habit pulls me into something else, right? We get into work and we silence our phones when we get into meetings. There's no calls coming in. There's no instant messages coming in. I'm focused at that time. And then when I'm in work, I can control my outreach. I can't control people replying back, but I control that outreach. I control that follow-up. Again, I can't control other people, so I can control how many I do. I can do one. Maybe I leave a message. Don't write that off as I won the day, right? Keep going out. Keep trying to stir up some type of follow-up of whatever your message is on whatever you're doing. We feel that with LFI, there's a message that can be put out there, right? The one that I'm leading with, I think it's starting to get a lot of traction, is the business card aspect, right? Everyone in business still identifies business cards as the number one marketing platform, no matter what you use. But we also know the waste and the lost opportunities. 90% of those end up in the trash. 10 billion cards, 9 billion end up in landfills. We're going to make a video. I know Kathy's already talked to us. Like, I want a video of a tree that crumbles, that goes down into some business cards and then goes to a landfill. Yep. And say, why not use digital where a lost opportunity can actually be regained based on someone going through their tabs on their computer or through their tabs on their phone and saying, oh yeah, or going through and getting a message from you. And you're always able to have that outreach to them through the digital platform, and you're not missing those opportunities. They always have the relevant information, the right information to the right person at the right time with the right marketing collateral, and everyone can utilize it. Everyone, so much to the fact that it's free. It's free on a platform to do it. Yes, you may be pigeonholed into one template and it looks like everyone else's, just like, we know from Shuffle, there's often impersonators, but never duplicators. We know there's other business cards out there, right? And we know people are paying for them. But we feel even our free platform outpaces every one of those, just based on the fact that I said there's people that try to impersonate and not duplicate. And we will continue moving forward with what these templates look like, and the simplicity and the ease to create them and build them and make it so simple. When someone says, Shelly says, Danon, Rose, yes, I need a business card. How do I get it? Push this button, fill out the form. Great thing is, with our new process, it's going to be done. They don't have to do much else. There's no more brain power that they really have to put into it. Fill out a form, create a card, start sharing, start getting that information out, start networking, start referring, start doing business, but control what you can control to identify potentially becoming financially free.
Yeah, Guy, I appreciate that so much. And I think there's some massive gold in there in what you're talking about that I hope everybody hears. The first big one is there are things that you can control, and focus on things that are going to be revenue generating activities. Okay. Things like sharing, getting out there and using this technology every day. When you're using it, people are going to be seeing it in use, and they'll start to see how they can apply it as well. And that's where those buying questions come out of. Wow, what is that? How do you do that? Can you show me how to do that? These are all things you want to be listening out for, but you're only going to elicit those types of questions when you're out there using it, when you're tapping information to people's devices, when you're sharing card links, when you're doing those types of things. The other thing that I heard that I think is so drastically important, Guy, is you can change your life in a year. You're not going to change your life overnight. Like if I want to lose 30 pounds, I can easily lose 30 pounds in a year. I'm not going to lose it overnight. No matter how much running I do, sauna sitting I do, whatever it is, it's just not feasible. And really what I want to tease out of that is set realistic expectations, especially if you're looking for financial freedom. Understand that it will be a process, that it is, or there are paths to financial freedom that are quicker or faster than the traditional 40-year process, and that you can be in control of these things if you do the revenue generating activities, if you take the time to make a plan and implement it. But set those realistic expectations. If you're spending 40 hours a week right now, okay, that's 80 hours every 2 weeks, that's 160 hours a month to equal your monthly income. So if you wrote down what you earned in a month, that income on that profit and loss statement, and it says 8,000, and you spent 160 hours to generate that, set the right expectation. If you want to replace that, are you going to spend the exact 160 hours? Well, at a minimum, you need to think about it in terms of that. At a maximum, if it was going to be residual, you might have to put in 2, 3, 4, 5x the time up front. These are front end loaded things, right? We do all the work up front, and then we get paid on those works residually for the life of that effort. So let's set these realistic expectations. I hate hearing from people where it's like, I've done this for about an hour or two, and I'm just not a millionaire yet. You know, how often do we hear that? These are unrealistic expectations. If that's the expectation you have, you might as well buy a lottery ticket or a scratch off and just test your luck. We don't want to put luck in there. We want to have control, as Guy was saying, over the choices that we can make. Maybe I'm not going to be able to control how they react to what I'm sharing to them, but I can share, and share some more. And I can identify when people are interested based on my self-sharing. And I can actively choose what I'm sharing to who I'm following up with. And that's all part of the plan I make for myself for the week. So Ruben, I know you had your hand up. Go on ahead and unmute and feel free to join the conversation.
Good morning, Shuffle members. Ruben Carrillo here from St. Louis. Again, I love this planning session because I learned something. I went from this to 4 o'clock in the morning to my Google Calendar. And my calendar goes from Monday through Sunday. Sunday essentially is church and rest, but planning that evening for Monday.
Yep.
And guys, I've had some great success. There were people that I have networked with socially online. They're in vendor shows as we speak. We're hooked up messenger wise. I created promo cards for them while they're on the show with a QR code and said, this is what I created for you. You can attract more people. Let's get to, if this interests you, my contact information is in the card. I learned that from Kathy, my address, my phone number. So 2 people already have contacted me. It takes a lot of work. It's a work in progress. No. So I really am a believer in revenue generating activity. Now, this coming week, I'm going to be a spotlight speaker twice this week. I have a Google slide presentation that I want to revamp, but there's people out there that'll charge a lot of money to enhance it for you, but you can do it yourself if you have enough time and enough interest. So right now, what I'm looking for is a free app to get my Google slide to flip or do some kind of phase in and phase out. I went to Canva and I found an animation, but it doesn't let me save it. So if you guys know a free app that I could manipulate Google Slides in my presentation, if you can put it in the chat, I'd be really appreciative. Thank you.
Also, Ruben, let me suggest throwing that into the insiders group as well. Again, part of being part of this LFI community is working together to help each other. I do want to call out a few things that, Ruben, you were saying, and just bring that to light for everybody. Ruben, you pulled up your paper plan. First of all, congratulations on having a paper plan. Most people don't get that far. Second of all, just your testimonial of shifting from a paper plan to a digital plan, right? I've got my sort of method of operation daily calendar up. We're on the sprint call right now. I've got in on my Tech Tuesday already blocked in at 2 p.m. Central Time, right? Mindset of a Champion at some time on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're talking about our Mastermind Roundtable, again, 11 a.m. Central. I'm on Mountain Time, and our Friday with the Founders. This is all part of a week at a glance, guys. These are calls that we make available to each and every one of you. You can join them. You can invite others to come in and join that conversation as well. And I'm pasting in the link to that week at a glance card in the chat here for everybody. But the key here, make a plan, right? Set it out. What activities are you going to do? Ruben, if you've got a highlight, you're the highlighted speaker, you probably have those things marked on your calendar, right? You're not going to miss the opportunity to get up in front of everybody and highlight stuff. Again, we talk about activities. You took some time. It was upfront work to make some promotional cards and empower other people to see the power of the technology. That's in addition to you using the technology all the time. You can start blocking out time on your calendar on when you're going to focus on work. And what do we talk about? Work. I mean, that's a 4-letter word. We don't like 4-letter words in general, but work needs to be out and done. And you need to identify blocks of time when you're going to do it. If you're working a traditional 8 to 5, maybe you're doing it before you go in or after you get off, or carving some time on the weekend. This is my personal work blocking schedule, right? I'm 9 to a little bit before 5 every single day. I know when I have my calls coming in that I need to be on. I even know when I'm on with our development team going through stuff. If you're talking about planning out everything, again, you can come on and use your calendar to block out everything from when you're going to wake up to when you're going to work out to when you're going to be mindful or meditate to when you're going to give gratitude, spend time with family, personal time, all of that type of stuff within a schedule. And if you do that, I truly believe you're going to have a greater chance of success. And that's really what we're doing. We're trying to manipulate statistics to be in our favor so that we can achieve the results we're working towards. Nobody on this call would ever say, I'm going to go on a trip and stop right there, not knowing where they're going, when they're going, what they're going to take, any of that type of stuff. But if you're setting yourself to go forward on a journey for financial freedom, you should put in as much planning towards this as you would planning for a vacation. Why? Because this could lead you open to have that vacation of a life, right? Have all your time back, have a location freedom, and have that residual income stream coming in to support all of that. Guy, I know, like you've had some illness go through the family recently. The little one's been sick. You have to drop everything, take her to the hospital, maybe take her to the urgent care or whatnot, and being in a position to say, okay, I've got work, but I'm going to put it on pause because I have flexibility to get out and do that stuff. And then when I come back, still knowing there's work that needs to get done, it's more of the flexibility to balance some of those activities and do things in between things. But you have to make a plan on all of that. I mean, that's the critical component. And this is why we are going to spend 52 hours. Think about it this year. We are spending 52 hours this year, every Monday, making a plan. 52 hours of our time. That's how important. This is 1/4 of the calls that we do every week is spent just on planning. Take a step back and just think on that for 3 seconds, right? How important is the plan? The plan is one of the most vital parts. Otherwise, we wouldn't spend 1/4 of our time of calls every week stressing that to you guys. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is, am I implementing a plan? If you're just on here watching it for entertainment purposes, we welcome you to the call and we hope you are entertained. But our ultimate goal is to get you setting forth on a plan, making that plan, putting that plan into action, and then winning each day by getting more done from your plan than you didn't. You don't have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. And then chipping away each day, right, to win the week. Once you do your planning on Monday and you make it for the 5 to 7 days ahead, and I like what Ruben said, right? On Sunday, he's already the night before planning for Monday. That's that cyclical circle of a routine on a weekly basis. And then once you've made your week plan, you can set it aside and only focus on each individual day. Carpe diem, seize the day, everybody, right? We don't want to focus on Friday because today is Monday. We want to get a roundabout idea of what we have going on for Friday in our weekly plan. But then after we're done with our plan, we're solely laser focused on what are we going to do today, right? That's why today's a gift. They call it the present because today is all we have. I can't guarantee you that tomorrow's going to come for me. You know?
I hope so.
I hope so too, brother. I hope so too. But that's the reality. But I can be diligent today in the choices I make, right? I'm not going to step out in traffic today. I'm going to buckle my seatbelt today. I'm going to do all those things today that help me look forward to tomorrow, including focusing on some revenue generating activities, right? This call, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, it's not a revenue generating activity unless you brought a guest to today's call. Today's call is an input call for you guys, right? Maybe it's an inspirational call to light the fire under your tuchus to get out there and, make your plan for the week and put it into action. What are revenue generating activities? We've talked about some of this stuff before. Do I have something worth sharing? Question one, do I have something worth sharing? If you don't, your first revenue generating activity is to build something that will help and support you, your brand, your product, your service, or your side hustle here as an LFI affiliate. Do you have something worth sharing? Once you have something worth sharing, and I hope everybody who's watching this has something worth sharing, I know you are all capable of it, get out and share. That's number two. Guy was talking about it. This is what we can control. We can get out there and be active, and there's a million ways to share, right? I can text. I can text my card to people. I can reach out to people via text. I can instant message on Facebook Messenger. Now I'm in the social sphere. I could post into groups. I can go to an online networking event. We haven't even left the computer, and within the first hour of the day, we can be out there sharing already. I can email people follow-up information, right? I can go to offline events. Maybe I've got a tap card and I'm going to a business networking event today or this week. Ruben talked about being a highlighted speaker at some events. If they're online, they're online. If they're offline, they're offline. But you should be empowered to get out there and share some information about who you are, what you do, and how you can help other people. Then you get out there and share. Sharing is going to help you meet new people. These are new prospects for your business, for your products, for your service, for your LFI. Number two, revenue generating activity. Who am I going to follow up with? Who am I going to follow up with? Again, we're playing the statistics here, right? We know that the average person 50% of the time isn't going to follow up a single time. Guy talked about, I can control what I can do. I can't control what the other person will do. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a person that I talked to at the beginning of the year. They said the timing was not right. Okay. The timing was not right. Follow up with me. And I set the expectation. Okay. Why don't I follow up with you at the end of Q1 and we'll see where things are at. I reached out to that person this morning, a quick text message. Hey, just circling back around. Hope your first quarter is going great. Wanted to touch base and see how everything is going. Within 5 minutes, I had a reply back from that individual and we're re-engaged in the conversation. Again, follow-up is so critical because a majority of people don't do it. And here's the reality. If I wouldn't have followed up, the likelihood that that person would have followed up with me, probably zero. Why? Because 50% of people don't even follow up. Think about that. They're waiting for things to happen immediately. And when they don't happen, they're out looking for the next thing. If we just sat and worked with each other and built those relationships, 5 to 12 interactions results in a sale. If you want to write that down, 5 to 12 interactions. Think about how many people you've interacted with and how often you're interacting with them. If you're not in that 5 to 12 range, closer to the 12 range, you're leaving money on the table. If we're having a conversation about financial freedom, your number one goal should be follow-up. Here's why. Those people will either do business with you over time, or they're going to refer you to somebody who you can do business with. And it's a lot easier to get referred out to the next customer than it is to go find the next customer. And all of that's based on follow-up. In fact, guys, 80%, that's the vast majority. It only leaves a little 20% section on the end, but 80% of people, they don't follow up past 2 times. Ask yourself, am I in the 80% or am I in the 20%? Because I will tell you right now, if you want to be financially free, You need to get into the 20%. You need to start doing the things that other people don't, so you can have the things that other people won't. We've all heard that.
But, to that point, think about any industry and the top salespeople, right? And sales in those industries are ultimately your take home, your inflows. There's the successful people, and then there's the ones that tinker in it. And the successful ones are the ones that are continually doing the follow-up. There's a reason why, less than 20% of people are extremely successful at it, is because there's a plan out there that 80% of people won't follow. They won't do the simple elements of following up. And to that point, follow-up probably is the single most important thing in business.
Yep.
Right. We're talking about a culture of trying to emphasize and try to get the message out of the importance of building those relationships. A relationship isn't going to be built on a single interaction. Talking about a couple of weeks ago when I had an opportunity to do Location Freedom, and some new friends got to spend a week with them, and each day the relationship grew stronger and stronger, to the point of, he's a tech guy. How can implementation work with maybe Shuffle into their technology? And wasn't going in with, here I have an agenda. It's just talking about what they do, what we do. It comes together. Hey, I have an idea. How could this be utilized with our technology? How could this be utilized with my products, with my opportunities? Because that's what you want to get out there. That's more of the message, instead of, hey, I have this.
Yep.
No, what do you need? Right? Ruben, we talked about it, and you jumped off on Friday. You went into your networking event. There were 28 people. 3 of them were utilizing digital cards. And you asked, who here uses a digital card? And the 3 people raised their hand. On the other end, I'd almost say, who uses business cards? There's a good chance all 28 would have raised their hands.
Yep.
Right? And to that point of what business cards are, and we know those metrics, right? 90% in the trash and lost opportunity. Let's say, hey, there's a simpler but more effective, better way of utilizing business cards, and it's through a digital platform, because those opportunities have less of a chance of falling through the cracks, right? To add to what you had asked, if there's anything out there that will help with your PowerPoint, I see Rose put in maybe video show app. I'm not familiar with it. I am familiar. ER and I are both Apple. So we're Apple phones, we're Apple computers. If you have Apple, I would look at Keynote. Keynote really helps you utilize, I think it's a more effective, powerful way to build PowerPoints. They do have those graphics built in. It pops up the image. It does whatever you want. So I would take a look at Keynote. But one thing, and I put it in our chat last week, and I just want to read it because I changed it a little bit to throw digital cards in there because it was a blog post that was put out there, that today nothing engages users better than an interactive experience, right? That's what people want. They want interactive experiences. And with digital business cards, this article writes about QR codes, the ability to connect off the offline world with online content, you can create that interactive experience for your audience. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's more likely going to foster the relationship, grow it, build it, get it further down to, hey, let me take a look. Let's look at this together. How can we build this together to get into your products, your services, your opportunities? This could be a handout of coupons. I know, Ruben, I think what you did with these individuals that are at these trade show events is perfect, right? You have a promo piece. You can also, I would almost utilize one of my own cards at times to give someone an experience and get it out to them and say, hey, here's something, try it out. See how it works. I've already built it for you. All you have to do is know how to push send, and watch what comes back in. That's sort of the magic of the tap, right? You tap it on someone's card, magic. Consider the benefits. So here's where it's basically calling it out. Consider the benefits of digital business cards and QR codes. Their applications are going to grow manifold in the upcoming years. Business will be seen incorporating this technology to ensure smart operations. So it's already put out there. I read this article and then I read another article that was written in 2019, and it was like, QR codes, get rid of them. No one uses them. Throw them away. And it was the next search item right below it. And it's what is the message? What are people looking for? What is actually here? I see 3 QR codes on our screen right now.
Yep.
Those are being utilized to give people interactive experiences.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful and so true, Guy. And really, everyone on this call has access to that at their fingertips. Imagine this. You are now empowered to help empower other people. And as an early adopter, you are their guide, right? So if you become knowledgeable, and we talk about it on a weekly type of thing where you will, still, and refill. The will is, what is the plan, right? I'm looking at Guy, your quote up there, right? People work better when they know what the goal is and why. You know, your will is, what are you working towards? What do you want to will to happen, and why do you want to get there? Is financial freedom for you something that's finally going to allow you to stop working every single day tooth and nail? Maybe that's a why. I'm sick and tired of working every day. I need a break. This is a why. I'm willing to work extra hard to make that happen sooner for me than later. You know, what is the why? And for a lot of people, when you're out there talking to them, their why is, I want to do better what I'm currently doing. And if you have a tool that can help them accomplish more, share more, engage more, you need to be listening for that. And Guy, you made the comment, it's not about like the interaction, the follow-up isn't, I have this, do this. It's a discovery process, right? I'm building a relationship. What do you do and how do you do it? We talk about asking questions all the time. Think about what Shuffle can do for anybody, and then ask those types of questions. How do you follow up with people? How do you connect with people? How do you share information? Do you use hyperlinks, QR codes, text messages, email marketing, tap, etc.? And lastly, Guy, you mentioned an example of building a card, whether it's your card or whether it's a promo card, and Ruben's example, actually going out and supporting people, right? Maybe they're not a customer yet, but you're sampling to them, supporting them in something they're doing that will turn them into a customer. And in fact, I had James reach out to me, I think it was on Friday. He had a prospect who was going to an event, just enrolled, and he wanted to even sample them the tap card, right? Buy some extra tap cards, put the promo on there, or put the card you create for somebody on there, provide it to them. Say, hey, look, try this out for 3 days, 4 days, and then we're going to meet back up so you can give it back to me, or you can buy it from me, type of thing. You know, there's different paths out there to get in front of people, but at the end of the day, it's all action-based. You have to go out and get in front of people. If you're just going to sit there and not do anything, you're not going to do revenue-generating activities that will lead to the financial freedom you're looking for. Now, Danon, I see your hand up. Go ahead, my friend. You there? I don't know if...
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
Danon,
If y'all can, excuse the noise, I'm at work. But I just wanted to let Ruben know that you could do all of that on Google Slides, as far as the animations and the slide in and phase in and slide out.
Can you put that in the chat, Danon? The Google Shots?
Google Slides. It's the same thing that he made his presentation in.
Okay.
He made his presentation in Google Slides. So
Got it.
All he got to do is go up to the tabs on the top, and they will show him. He can find all of that. But I could actually, I'll get in touch with him later on today.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. I didn't realize that. That's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll call you tonight.
Thanks.
All right.
Awesome. I love it. Love the community coming together to support each other. So Google Slides, which Ruben, you built your presentation in already. Check out those tabs at the top, and there might be some transitional things that you can add into your slides. Now, Rose Michelle, I see your question. Do you suggest becoming knowledgeable first about our product before sharing what we have to offer? Not necessarily, right? You have to be just dangerous enough, okay? When my daughter was learning how to ride the bike, and now she's 6 and she's a great little bike rider, right? We put her on the Strider bike. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. It doesn't have any pedals. It just has 2 wheels, and they can run along with the bike and then lift up their feet and sort of glide along, right? She's only learning one aspect of riding a bike, but then she implements that aspect. Same thing here, Rose Michelle. You need to learn enough to get started, right? I have a master's degree, but I went through each little level before I went up and got that. And I knew enough at each phase. Like Guy, we were talking about, we both have formal educations in finance. I knew enough at each phase that helped me implement some of those strategies, even while I was continuing to learn. So baseline things, do you know enough to build your own card? And guys, getting started, the first card you should be building should be a mobile business card. It takes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes if you really want to dial it in or bring in a custom photo and crop it right and everything like that. And then you can always come back. My first card does not look like my current card, guys. I edited it over time. So with that being said, definitely not knowing everything, but knowing enough. Again, do you have something worth sharing? Get to that point where I can know enough to build something worth sharing. Then continue with your education in tandem, in parallel, while you're out there using and sharing. If I waited till all the way at the end of knowing everything before I built my first card, I would have wasted a lot of time. And when we talked about time freedom in previous weeks, we do not want to waste time. We want to be uber efficient with our time. Okay, and then can we do a call on strategies on how to follow up for those who have no experience in networking and marketing? Yep. Definitely, maybe that's something that for Thursday's Roundtable Mastermind, we can look at that topic and have team and group participation, because a lot of follow-up, once you understand the mechanics, is pretty simple. It's not always about a sale on a call. It's about following up. We're already doing this with people all the time naturally. You just need to learn how to be more focused on it and figure the mechanics out of it. So we'll talk about that maybe on Thursday's mastermind call. Are there any other questions, comments, tips, tricks, or anything else anybody would like to add as it relates to sprint planning, right? Making our plan for the week, and financial freedom, right? Doing the actions on a daily basis that are going to lead us to a point of the passive residual income that's going to replace our current maybe dollar per hour income stream. Anybody? Danon, yes, I saw your hand up again. Go ahead.
I actually have a question about the additional notes. I was trying to find out what was the value. I know it says subject and it says value. What was the intention of putting in the value?
Yep. So the value is just a technical speak for the label of that additional information. So you can put in information on that. When you're taking it, I'm assuming you're talking about the additional info underneath a contact profile.
Contact?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as I'm building out that contact profile, I have a section called additional information where I can put in other items about that contact. We want to build a profile as we interact with people over time. And that's the big thing here, right? We know that stuff is going to change over time as we develop the relationship. If you're going out and doing what we said 80% of people do, one and done, and they're not building a relationship, Over time, you might want to know, do they have kids? Put that down in additional details. What's their birthday? Do they have an anniversary? Do they have a love for something, a passion for something? Are they a transplant? Are they a native, etc.? The more information you have about somebody, the more likely they are to do business with you, because people do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And knowing and liking and trusting somebody is about having a relationship with them. You'll do much better if you have 60 or 70 core customers who love you and will not do business with anybody else but you, than having 1,000 people who just randomly don't know who you are and are willing to jump to somebody else at the drop of a hat. So on there, you can put the title is the listing, and the value is the content within that listing, right? So if I was putting in birth date would be the title, and the value would be the date that is the birthday. I hope that makes sense, Danon.
Okay, now would that allow you to make different columns, or everything have to be in that one column?
All it is, I'm going to show you guys right now real quick, because I want you guys to know how to do this. And maybe this is something we can do Tech Tuesday at 2. Here I am in Jane Doe's profile under our Douglas Demo account. You can see I've got additional data right here. I have her birthday listed, okay, and pretty young because she's only a few days old here, but we'll come back in. We can hit the plus sign. You have got the title and the value. The title is birthday. The value is the date that you put in, okay? Title, again, anything we want to know. Family. You know, 3 kids, married 20 years. Hit save. Family is the value, or family is the title. The value is the information. You want to keep adding information so that as you're going back and interacting with this person over time, we talk about the importance of follow-up, right? Setting these follow-up reminders so that we continue to follow up and engage with Jane Doe over time until they make an informed buying decision.
So is there 2 titles? Do it show 2 titles after that?
Yeah, so you can keep adding and adding. You don't have one title, one value. You have a title and value for every piece of additional information that you add. The same thing if you're using lead capture forms on any of the campaigns that you're out there marketing and sending with. If you ask different questions on that campaign form, that's going to load into additional data, with the title being the form listing and the value being what they've sent back into that. So we're just using that same listing methodology on how you edit the additional data on a contact. Okay, guys, we've got only a few minutes left as we wrap up sprint planning. Any last questions, comments, tips, tricks? We want everybody to have an amazing week here. Make sure you have your plan, okay? Make sure you have your plan. It's not that hard. The other thing I would recommend, and I think Ruben, you sort of highlighted it, at the end of the week, whether your week ends on Friday, whether your week ends on Sunday, take an opportunity to review the progress you made that week. For some of us, you might want to take and spot check and review your daily progress. If today you said, I'm going to follow up with 1, 2, 3 people, and I'm going to share with 1, 2, 3 people today. If that's your daily goal, did you meet that goal today? You know, did you follow up with 4 people? Did you follow up with 2 people? Did you share with 3 people? Did you share with 5 people? Where are you at in measuring your progress against your plan? And take an opportunity to look at that. I like to look at it on a daily basis. Real quick, did I win the day? And then on a weekly basis over time. Maybe I'm not going to win every day, but maybe I'm going to win the week because I won more days than I lost. That's the mindset of a champion that we talk about, where we want to be a little bit of competitive, but we're going to review our progress. We're going to sit back and watch the day's game film and see whether we did what we thought and planned to do. Because the reality is, it's just the constant repetition of implementing our daily plan, putting that into practice, that achieves the result we're looking for. I want to sort of, before passing it over to you, Guy, and maybe letting you elaborate on this, but closing the quote that you usually give, right? You can wish in one hand and poo-poo in the other and decide which one you're going to get first. Guys, you have to have action. Wishing and hoping and praying that it happens, it's not going to happen unless you get out there and do something. So what action are you going to take to get a result? That's what it boils down to. I'm going to keep saying this every week, week in and week out, until it clicks for everybody who sees this, because that's all it is. There's no secret. It's get out there and do what you say you're going to do, measure against what you say you were going to do, and then look, did it take you to where you wanted to go? And if not, you make an adjustment, and then all of a sudden, wow, you start getting to where you want to go. And then you can make different goals. You can accelerate up that expense and outflow. You can change your life by design. But let's first get everybody financially free. So Guy, I'm going to throw it back over to you to close this thing out.
Awesome. I think to add to this, we talk about it all the time, right? There's no secret. There really is no secret to being successful. It's having the right mentality. It's working. It's putting the effort in, and figuring out what days you win and what days you lose, and hopefully you win more than you lose. And continue moving forward, not being discouraged by the day that you lost. Allow yourself to rehire yourself the next day. Yep. We talk about the gurus in the mindset coaching realms, the Tony Robbins, the Dean Graziosis, the Grant Cardones. A lot of them tell you there's no secret, but a lot of them tell you there's a secret in the same sense. Well, the secret for a lot of people are, you pay us more money and we'll keep telling you the exact same thing. We'll tell you this week at this event, and when you pay $7,000 for next month's event, we're going to tell you the same thing. But after those $7,000 are spent, we're going to maybe give you something, but tell you how to implement it. That's going to take another few $1,000s to implement. And they're telling you things, and this is really where it hit home for me years and years ago, is they're telling me things that I already know. I already know it. It's just, I have to get out of my own way, and I have to do it. I have to progress forward. And the only one that's going to do it is me. ER can't make me successful, right? I have to be able to take those steps. So we'll wrap it up for today. What we have for the rest of the week, we encourage you to come to Tech Tuesday at 2. I'll try to go through these at Central Time so we don't move people around. Tech Tuesday at 2 tomorrow with Kathy. Maybe something will go along with looking at that element that Danon was asking about. If we need to advance more into the value, the title, what those different elements are and how those work. Tech Tuesday at 2. We have ER's Mastermind at 11 Central Time on Thursday. And then Friday with the founders, we wrap it up and let's just check to see how the week went. I would encourage you all to have a great week, to take control of your destiny. And it would be awesome to hear some wins at the end of the week from each of you, from each person who's watching this on replay or maybe watching over on YouTube right now. If you've got a team, a network, encourage them. They can also do this. They can also participate. If they can't participate because their JOB is from 9 to 5 and this falls in that time and they can't watch it, they can go and maybe put it on 2x speed and rewatch this later in the day or early tomorrow morning, whatever that is, to help encourage and say, hey, we can all do this. We just have to put some work in. So for me or myself, we're going to wrap up sprint planning. Hope everyone has a great plan for the week, great plan for the day. Go out and win it. Take care. Have